A musician has 12 notes to work with. Writers have 26 letters. So it would seem that the advantage would go to writers because they have more to work with. In this rather curious beginning to another episode of Way with Words, I want to talk about how those two elements work. Musicians have a certain advantage in that the sound does not need to be completely comprehended to be absorbed. Words, however, usually the meaning prevents their absorption if it's not clear. Another advantage that musicians have is that not everybody is one, and therefore, when someone plays something wonderful, or at least moderately interesting, those of us who do not play go like, "Oh, I wish I could do that. That's marvelous." Or we stand up and cheer on our chairs. Whereas writers don't have that advantage because we all think we can use language skills like that, because a lot of us can actually talk and use complete sentences in a row. And some of us can write them down. And therefore, we think that writing is a little bit more of a commonality, and we're just not impressed. So to cut through that, as a writer, takes of a strange combination of being simple enough to follow, original enough to be worth the effort, traditional enough that you're not completely off the side of the table, and yet still being fresh enough with a new insight that you can change somebody's perspective, opinion, experience, insight with an actual sentence. So, this concept of how does music approach our brain and get us to move, even if we don't quote-unquote understand it, to me is very much fun to explore. And sometimes when I'm trying to write, I'll be listening to music and notice how quickly I'm pulled off my own concentration level by the concentration level of the musicians I'm listening to. Duh, that happens. Now, to try to get into that flow using words, using sentences, using lines, requires a sort of trusting your ears to what you're trying to say. And the trick in it is read your stuff out loud to yourself if there is no one else there. If you have a trusted ally, have them read it back to you to see how it sounds in somebody else's pitch range, to know that you're not just kind of echo chamber talking to yourself and, well, of course this is brilliant, this is genius, by gum. You want to have that kind of feedback. So taking written stuff and making it oral, loud, is how you can use the advantage that musicians have to improve your position as a writer. How does it sound? It may make a lot of sense on the page, but how does it sound? Do you put commas in the right place to allow someone to breathe through it? Have you got your periods together? Do you know how to break a paragraph? Are your stanzas too long? These sort of rhythm and flow elements show up a lot more when you're reading it out loud than they sometimes do on a page. So get loud, and you may get profound results. Thank you.